Good morning, this is Neil Spate, Addendum News, and I'm inside Lionel Oxley house in Grays. I've been invited in by a couple of residents who didn't want to go on camera but told me about what has happened yesterday and what has or hasn't happened overnight. For those of you that don't know about this is a tower block in the south of Grays where there was a fire in the bin area yesterday, and the smoke came up from the bin yard and into these flat areas and indeed into the bin chute area here, which is where this whole area, in fact, this still smells quite strongly of smoke. Residents, about a quarter of the residents in the building are still without power. Thurrock Council have moved some people, they say, into temporary housing, but there are a number who are still, I believe, quite higher up, and if you look on our Facebook page you'll see some stories from some people which I'll compile into a story on Addendum News later. What is disturbing is that when I was speaking to the residents just now, they said that when the incident happened yesterday, the fire alarm didn't actually go off, which they were quite concerned about. And what is interesting even further is, I don't know whether you can hear, there is a high-pitched whine, but here we are on the ground floor near the entrance, and there's clearly a fault with the fire alarm here, or at least the signal tells you there's a fault, but it's going on. So the residents aren't sure whether they're still safe or not. We're going to go outside the building now, and we'll just wander around to the bin area outside. Now bear in mind, we had a missive from the council late last night saying that they had teams of people down here working, and that the power firms were on the job and everything was going to be made safe. Well, I've spoken to residents, they've seen nobody down here, certainly today. The power is still out. Yes, we know it's a bank holiday, but emergencies happen. This is where the rubbish area is, and this appears to have been dragged out yesterday when the fire took place. And that's the entrance to the chute room that's there. But there are an awful lot of very concerned residents here. Some of the people up at the top with their children said they've had a terrible night, and the reason the scaffolding and everything is here is that the cladding has been removed from this building. It is supposed to be being replaced. Addendum News has asked Thurrock Council a number of times over a number of months what's happening. The residents are reporting the cladding hasn't been replaced, the building is very, very cold inside, and nothing has been done. Sometimes you run short of words as to Thurrock Council's attitude, it seems, to telling people what's actually going on. We don't know what's going on with the cladding. It's not just in this building, it's in the adjacent blocks, as you can see. And it's all a bit of a mess, and there are a lot of very unhappy and disappointed people. Addendum News will keep pressing, keep asking for answers, as I know some local councillors will, and hopefully the power will be restored to this building very shortly, and all things will be put right. But it's clearly not good enough, and what is especially concerning is that alarm which you just saw. It seems to be very problematic. No doubt we were revisiting this story. This is Neil Spate, Addendum News in Grays. Good morning, and just a brief addendum to the report I've just filed. It wouldn't be fair not to report everything. Just as I was leaving the building, a gentleman arrived in a high-vis jacket, who is, this is at Lionel Oxley house, who is working for UK Power Networks, and he's gone into the building, and he said there will be some more people coming down here hopefully later on. What was quite interesting was he got in the building, a resident let him in, and then he went to where the power box was, and it's all chained and locked up and he can't get in, so he's now anxiously trying to find out. So it doesn't seem to be a greatly coordinated effort, but as I say, we will be asking Thurrock Council for an update later on this morning, and hopefully things will improve for the residents. But it wouldn't be, I just said nobody was down here, and it wouldn't have been right not to mention that as I was leaving, somebody from Power Networks did turn up.